Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share your daily aspects. Today is Monday, May 16, 2022. Sun is in Taurus for a few more days. This has been a time of growth, of becoming grounded in what is familiar and in what sustains us. And the final week of Sun in Taurus, because Sun moves into Gemini this Friday, is the final week of a Sun's transit tends to be sort of a week in review, not just an opportunity for us to look back on how it went for us, but also an opportunity for those themes, specifically this time of the Sun in Taurus, to be coming up for us for a few more days. So, when the Sun is in Taurus, we are thinking about the resources we rely on. We are thinking about the material stuff that we need and desire and how we receive it, how easy it is to receive, where we get it from, that kind of thing. As the Sun moves toward the exit, Uranus will remain in Taurus until 2026. The shakeups in our supply chain are far from over, friends. There is strength in flexibility. North Node will remain transiting Taurus until July of next year, keeping us habitually focused on the gathering of material resources for our own security and stability. The moon was full late last night. We had a full lunar eclipse and a midpoint celebration while the moon was in Scorpio with the South Node. That is a lot going on. And of course, I'm recording this on Sunday before the eclipse, so I can't say much about how it went. But I do plan to be up tonight to be deep in my intuitive practices, offering up gratitude for the abundance I'm experiencing and searching within for new areas where I might increase in growth and understanding. Today, Monday, the moon is officially waning. The lunar energies up to the point of last night's culmination were all about increase, and now they guide us in the way of decrease. During the week following the full moon, we may continue to celebrate our achievements, and we will also begin to look back on how things went for us over the past few weeks. Specifically, the question we ask is, what didn't work? Or in other words, what would I like to see go better next time? There's always room for improvement. I'm going to get right into the aspects, friends, but first I will point out the handcrafted key at the right-hand side of the page. Most of the symbols on the page have made it into the key. If you desire a point of reference, it's right here. I've otherwise divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon is the luminary that sheds light on our inner lives. This is about your relationship with yourself. It's what it feels like for you to be in your body, heart, and mind, and in your home. The transits and aspects that the moon makes are all very brief, and they have a subtle impact on those things we think, feel, know, and intuit, but may choose whether to express. The sun is the luminary that sheds light on our outer lives. This is the outward expression of yourself in the world, specifically in your work, social, and civic spaces. I address the sun and the rest of the planet's movements on this side because these have a greater effect on that outward expression. And we begin on the moon side today at 4:28 a.m. Central Standard Time, friends. A void of course moon goes sextile to Pluto. So the moon is making its last aspect here in the sign of Scorpio before it makes ingress to Sagittarius a few hours later. Cancer and Scorpio, this is probably very much your vibe at this time. We may find ourselves deep in our emotions or our intuitive senses. What we can feel from the depths at this time can be put to work for us to positive effect. The moon is void, of course, today for almost 2.5 hours. This is the period when the moon is believed to be less influenced by either sign, so generally it's perceived to be a good time to get into your creative and intuitive practices and to gain insight and understanding. Then at 6:50, let's say void, of course, there. At 6:50 this morning, moon makes ingress to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So this brings us out of our shells to face the adventure of being alive in the world for the next 2.5 days is how long that transit is. Just a couple of hours later at 8:33, Moon goes trine to Jupiter, Cancer and Sagittarius. This is ideal, positive functioning between the inner self and our sense of growth and expansion. We can be very good company at this time, and we can foster positive connections for our own growth and expansion. This afternoon at 12:19, Moon goes in opposition to Mercury, which is retrograde. Gemini, Cancer, Virgo, Sagittarius may notice this the most. We may find it difficult to connect with others at this time, or to know how we're feeling, or to be able to express it. This can feel difficult, but the transit is temporary. Give yourself some time to work it out and try again later. It really only lasts about 2 hours. On the Sun side today, in the ongoing column, through today only, Sun conjunct Chiron. First, I want to say, look at all the sun on the page today. I don't know if I've ever had the sun side of the page be so covered in actual sun aspects. So that's interesting and fun, and very much about our outer life and what can be consciously seen, perceived, and known and sort of dealt with. So Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius. Chiron is in Aries. So dealing with issues surrounding how comfortable we are being ourselves among others and how comfortable others are with us being ourselves. The Sun here in a conjunct position serves to direct our attention and self-expression toward any pain or wounding we have experienced in that context. But this is a brief but golden opportunity to find some healing, or at least to peel back a layer. So if there's something, that you're still working on regarding your sense of self-expression in the world, and listen, if you're like me, you've got a Chiron in Aries, because I'm right around 50 years old. So Chiron is in its return right now. So those of us who are in the Chiron return right now are really experiencing some sort of healing, or finding some solutions or some other ways of being that help us cope with or eliminate those old hurts or uncertainties that have to do with our ability to express ourselves around other people. So this is a really golden opportunity to seek some of that healing for yourself. Through 5/22, May 22nd, Sun is sextile to Neptune. As always, this transit applies to everyone, but Taurus, Leo, and Pisces would be most likely to notice this right now. This is positive, cooperative functioning between our consciousness and our capacity to connect energetically with others. We can be quite psychic at this time. Write down your predictions. This is also a good time to create from the imagination, so make some art or something. Then through the 23rd of May, we have the Sun square to Saturn. Taurus, Leo, Capricorn, Aquarius. This brings some consciousness of being restricted by the confines of our outer life commitments. Square energies come up to test our resolve, though, and we rise to the challenge by handling our responsibilities like we said we would, even if little things get in our way. Mercury sextile Jupiter, here with us through May 28. This one's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. With Mercury retrograde at this time, I view this as an opportunity to review the expanded plans for our own growth and increase. So the big plan is probably going to include a lot of smaller plans. For example, if you want to do business at a market, you first have to establish what you'll be paying to be at that market, what materials you need to set up, what are you going to charge, how are you going to take money. These smaller bites of the big plan can be attended to, especially if you've already set your intentions in place before the Mercury retrograde. So look ahead and just try to do things one thing at a time in a good order, so there isn't sort of one piece hanging out there holding the rest of it back. Mercury is retrograde through June 3rd. The apparent backward motion of our planet for analysis and communication can bring about shakeups in our ability to say what we mean and get where we're going. These things are often less easy for us at this time, so go slow, friends. Be patient with yourselves and others. Consider it an opportunity to practice Mercury's less direct skills, like watching and waiting for the right moment to move. Sun sextile Mars will remain in aspect through June 4. Aries, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio have ruling planets here. This influence wants us to feel alive and juiced up with the energy to act, to pursue, and to satisfy our physical drives, lending us power and speed in the forward direction of the stuff we seek to achieve. I think this is ideal for the sort of big picture, small bites approach. Mars wants to complete a single straightforward task and keep moving. The Sun in this sextile position here is cooperating to hold your focus on those short-term goals that add up to pull the long-term goals together. Mercury trine Pluto is here with us through June 19. Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio, let us know your experience. Now that Mercury is retrograde, the guidance here is to pay close attention or to listen in a deep way to what our senses are telling us about the endings and beginnings that are coming up and those that are already present in our lives. Pay attention to your intuitive impressions at this time. They can be useful in strategizing your approach to the bigger changes. Pluto is also retrograde through October 8. This is Pluto's final retrograde in Capricorn. So after transiting Capricorn for the last 25 years, Pluto is almost done bringing deep and total change to our institutions and traditions. What worked back then often no longer works in the new world, and we're not yet done going through these changes to our notions of what does work. This is also a time when the things that don't work, like bad habits, toxicity in our relationships, or poor money management, those things will be painfully clear to us. Not to worry, friends, we have loads of initiative, momentum, and power on our side at this time. The transformations are upon us, and with a little bit of planning, we can see our way clear to the evolution that is present and coming up for us. Tomorrow, Mars goes conjunct to Neptune, lending initiative to act on what we can sense. And I'm going to say, there's a caveat in there. It kind of depends on what you are used to sensing. Thursday, Sun goes sextile to Pluto, bringing the healing light of day to something deeply held. This Friday, Sun makes ingress to Gemini, bringing our focus around to our ability to share and communicate. And next Sunday, we'll see the third quarter moon in Pisces, and Mercury in retrograde will back up into Taurus again. Okay, friends, that's it for today's astrology. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like my video, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. And friends, I truly appreciate it when you comment to ask questions or provide encouragement. I enjoy being engaged in the questions. I appreciate the encouragement. It really does give me a reason to keep, going forward and doing this every day. It isn't just gratifying for me to know that you're listening, but it also lets YouTube know that you're engaged in the content, and that helps a lot as well. Also, if you know anyone for whom this guidance may resonate, I encourage you to share, as sharing is caring. Now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about Tarot as it relates to astrology today. First, I will discuss the Tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll do a quick rundown of today's astrology before throwing a random card that hopefully speaks to today's energies. So let's go ahead and get into it. The Tarot card that sits on the side of the page is the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles relates astrologically directly to the last 10 days or the third 10 days of the Sun's transit through Taurus. After this 10-day period, Sun's going to make ingress to Gemini. We're going to have a new card. That'll be Friday and Saturday of this week. For now, though, we are in that week in review of Taurus where these themes of how we get the things that we need in order to be stable and strong get to us, how we receive them, right? So this card really is about have somebody who has put in a whole lot of work building a plan or building a business or building something that is fundamental to their material security in the world. Okay, your ability to have a home, the transportation you need, the food resources that you need. Pentacles and Taurus are all about earth, and earth is about your body and the stuff you have and your wealth and your finances. So it's about material goods. Okay, so this person has put a lot of work, a lot of diligence and perseverance into making sure their plan had all of the resources that it needed, that it had good earth to grow from, that it had the access to sunshine and gave it plenty of water and really paid attention to it. And now we're at this point where it's almost ready to go, friends. It's almost like those tomatoes are red, but they're not quite ready to come off the vine, right? So, you don't want to, harvest your plan prematurely, okay? You don't want to try to sell your business prematurely or even open up your business prematurely before you've got everything material that you need in place. And then on the other side of that, you don't want to grow impatient with this process and just walk away and allow that fruit to die on the vine and therefore have no value. Okay, you've put a lot of personal work and effort and even emotional value into making this plan work, and so you have a little bit more work to do. It's not time yet to enjoy the fruits of our labor, so we just have to remain attentive, especially to those physical resources, to our health, wealth, and finances, to keeping our things nice and building them and growing them in such a way that they have value for us down the road. Don't give up. Don't stop now. It would be very short-sighted to stop at this point. So just keep attending those resources. They're going to become something of value for you in the short term. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some cards while I remind myself. And the cards, the sun is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. And, sun in Taurus, like I said, is a time when we put down roots and we stretch our leaves out to the sunshine. We grow strong physically, and we begin to also think about how we bring in our resources. We begin to sort of bring in resources after that long, cold winter and then the springtime. Now there's this abundance all around us and we can get what we need. So that's what we do when the sun is in Taurus. Uranus is also in Taurus. This has indicated sort of a shifting landscape of how and where we get things and how much they cost and all that kind of stuff. And we'll be there through 2026. So we're familiar with this by now. We're going to keep having to deal with this sort of changing landscape of what we need and how we get it, at least until then. And also the North Node is in Taurus. And so, that kind of helps balance against that Uranus vibe there, because North Node is that thing that we pursue no matter what. Okay, so when the North Node is in Taurus, we're pursuing the receipt of those resources that we need and desire for us to feel secure and strong in the world. On the moon side of the page, we had a full moon last night, so today is waning gibbous. So we are on the decrease side of that culmination now. Before yesterday, we were increasing, we were growing, we were planning, we were moving in the direction of our culminations. And now we've celebrated our culminations, or are celebrating our culminations, and it's time to start reviewing how it went, thinking how we'd like to have it go better. And, with that in mind, then a week from now with this third quarter moon, we can start to release the things that aren't going to work for us going forward. The moon begins today in Scorpio, but moves into Sagittarius pretty early. So moon in Sagittarius is really like, especially moving from Scorpio to Sagittarius, is like coming up from under the deepest part of the water and flying up into the air to the mountaintop. Okay, so it's really an expansive vibe. Our world grows bigger, our curiosity grows bigger, our desire to take on new learning and to find more universal truths rather than more personal truths is there. On the moon side of the page today, I think we have some pretty good vibes. This sort of afternoon thing where the moon is in opposition to Mercury, which is in retrograde, can be like we're just having difficulty either with our devices or with our ability to communicate and plan, connecting with somebody, or even connecting with our own thoughts and ideas. It's okay. Give your little backwards brain a break. And I'm saying backwards brain because we've got Mercury in retrograde, and just try again later. Otherwise, you've got this moon sextile Pluto, which means that what you do notice, what you intuitively know, can be used for good. We've got information over here too saying trust your insights, trust your psychic impressions. And then you've got this 2 hours void, of course, so that's a good time to meditate, to journal, to go ahead and, dig into those, your tarot and your I Ching or whatever it is that you do to divine for yourself, to have conversations with yourself. That's a good time to be doing it. Not that there are any really terrible times to be doing it, but that void, of course, when the moon is not really particularly affected by any sign, is really the time I look to. And then the moon makes ingress to Sagittarius. Like I said, we come out of our shelves, we come out of our little ponds, and we expand our idea of what we can be, do, and have from the heart. And then that moon trine Jupiter, fostering positive growth and connections. You couldn't possibly have more ideal functioning for feeling expansion, feeling growth, desiring those things. And then on the sun side of the page, we have so much sun aspects here. It's all sun and Mercury, basically. You've got Pluto retrograde evolving on the inside. Pluto is retrograde for 6 months out of the year, okay? We're always going through transformations and evolutions. They don't happen quickly. They happen very slowly through multiple changes and adjustments. So, just pay attention to, the inner intuitive and emotional impact of the things that you're going through right now. But this Sun conjunct Chiron, an opportunity for healing, especially when it comes to our ability to express ourselves or our ability to feel welcome in expressing ourselves. Sun sextile Neptune, positive cooperative functioning between your outer life, your conscious sense of yourself and who you are in the world, and your more psychic, connected to humanity part of your life, creative part of your life. So that's a great time to be creating from the imagination, and also to pay attention to the impressions you get from your connections to other people, because you can trust them and they can work for you. Sun square Saturn, just there to remind us that we have responsibilities and we handle them because we are adults and we said that we would. Mercury sextile Jupiter, positive cooperative functioning between your intellect. Even if our brains are backwards, they're still brains. And our intellect and our sense of this expansion that we're going through. Look, we've got these two beautiful Jupiter aspects today, saying that we can strategize for growth, we can connect with other people and create growth, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us. Mercury in retrograde just says, less talking and making commitments and more watching and planning. Okay, both of those are sort of sides to Mercury. You don't want to try to be on the front side of Mercury when the front side of Mercury is in when Mercury is in retrograde. You want to kind of try to be on the back side of Mercury and be doing those sort of quieter Mercury activities, is what I have found. Also, listen, pay attention, be patient with yourself and others, be patient with your electronic devices, be patient in traffic. All of these things are impacted by Mercury's retrograde. Sun sextile Mars here, power boosted initiative. This is your sense of initiative. This is your conscious life, just sort of shining this spotlight of attention, and what you think on grows. So, your attention is on the stuff that you're trying to get done. This is great. This is really great for this Mercury sextile Jupiter, where you want to take small bites. You have a big plan, you have strategized the whole plan. Now there are things that need to be done in a certain order somewhat, and Sun sextile Mars is here to help you get those little straightforward things done that add up to the bigger plan being culminated. And Mercury trine Pluto, trust your insights. Okay, it's your brain and your gut, like you're really inside your subconscious speaking to one another in this perfect almost blessed position of energy. So trust the insights that come up for you at this time. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead, turn this card. Okay, we got the Eight of Cups. So first I'm seeing, pentacles and cups. So this is earth and water. Things can get a little bit muddy, right? Earth is about your physical resources, including your bodily health, your wealth, your finances, the nice things that you like to have. Cups is really much about feelings, emotions, and creative energy, okay? And this card speaks to a certain amount of disappointment. Like you culminated something that you thought was going to be really emotionally satisfying for you, but it wasn't enough, or it didn't turn out the way you thought it would be, so you feel disappointed, and you realize, I put all my heart into this. I put a lot of creative and emotional energy into this, and now I'm going to have to walk away. So there's some disappointment. There's a sense of loss that we have to feel at this time. And, I mean, we're coming to the end of the sun's transit through Taurus, so I see that we're in transition here. We're all going through these evolutions and transformations all the time, but especially it's very much on our minds at this time. So for me, what's coming up from the depths very much applies to this card. Okay, what we're feeling on the inside, what we're noticing, like we've put all of our all of our idealistic eggs into one basket, or we put a lot of emotion into supporting some thought, dream, or ideal, and we just know that we know now that it's not going to work out, and that it's sort of ill-placed love and emotion. So again, there's a loss to be suffered, and we have to think about that disappointment and face it and actually walk away so we can find something better. Taken together with the Seven of Pentacles, there's this moment with the Seven of Pentacles where you're right in between, this is all almost completely grown and ready to have value for me, but I have more work to do, right? This is not the time to enjoy the fruits of my labor. So first of all, I've already said, don't just get disappointed and walk away, or that fruit is going to rot on the vine and it'll never have any value to you, right? But also, this is a moment where you're concerned, like, if I could pick this fruit today, then I would know that they would be almost valuable to me, right? But anything could happen between now and the next week or so when I really want to be able to harvest these resources, and there's a concern that there will be a loss, right? That I've put all of my work and heart into this, and now I'm just not certain that it's going to have the value for me that it should. So I'm thinking about walking away. Don't walk away. Remain resolved, okay, to handle your responsibilities, to do the things that you said you would do toward the support of your foundations, toward your structural integrity in your life, okay? Handle your responsibilities, do the work, be diligent, persevere, okay? And then if a disappointment comes, then it comes, but at least you can say that you really did all that you could. And I think that's all I have to say about that today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you being here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.